contribution and also all your comments you have made. All this one contributed immensely for the continued design of this energy channel. I want to assure you that this is the only channel that you have all you need. And for those of you who have questions, ask questions about the energy patterns, the different things, some other things. I'm answering a question one after the other, and also if your question is not answered in time, please you have to bear with us because we are researchers and also have other things doing. And today I'm going to discuss very intensively on how you can reduce costs in building 15 kVA differential generator. Today I'm going to focus on how you can reduce costs because it is the desire of every free energy design engineer to reduce cost. Whatever you cannot do to reduce cost of your production is not as effective. And I have seen people complaining about the high cost of materials, and some have said, oh, as an engineer, I want to design 200 kVA, what do I require? I want to design 100 kVA generator, what do I require? I have a cost all over the world. But I want to tell you that every design you want to make determine the cost what you spend. For instance, we have 3 energy generators here. You have this, you have this, and you have this. In all this, you can see that the designs are different. And with this kind of design, the cost also will differ. For instance, in this area, this one, there's no flywheel. You only see the motor and the generator. That is why I say the materials you are using in constructing the different generator determine the cost. The material you are using determine the cost. If what you're using is the type of material that require a high cost, then you don't expect something lower than that. Like I'm using something like this and something like this. If you are designing this kind of energy, definitely you should not expect a much cost, because you know why? You only need 2 things here. What you need is the motor and the generator. Simple design. You don't need anything, just motor and generator. And with this, you can run your energy comfortably. Depends on what you want to do, about what you want to produce. So this is a simple design I'm talking about. Now the same way applicable to this place. This one here has alternator and the motor. Simple, there's no flywheel. Somebody may ask, sir, if I use alternator and the motor, will I still have energy production? Yes, you still have. It is not the flywheel that produces the light. I've said it over the occasion. I say it's not the flywheel. What produces the light is the speed that the motor can run. The speed that the motor can run that affects the generator. So if the motor can run in high speed, the generator at very high speed, definitely you can still have light. The flywheel. Perhaps some people ask question, how many kVA flywheel can I use? No, flywheel, you are only using flywheel in a case of kinetic energy. You're trying to store energy so that in the process of switching over, you will not have a breakdown. So that's where flywheel is needed, because flywheel will help you to play that role very well. When you are doing the switching over from the external power source that enable you to run the motor to internal power source, which is the generator power. That's where you have this design now. This one you have here, this flywheel. This is the motor and the generator. Why do we have this? Because if the energy is running, if the generator is running, between the period of switching over from this that enable this generator to produce light, the external power that enable this motor to turn. In that process of switching over from external power source to internal power source, the flywheel will store, will store or will maintain. Let me say what maintain. It will maintain the temporal energy, the temporal speed, the temporal turning that will enable you to switch over. That is why sometimes we talk about the flywheel in the area. But that does not mean that if a flywheel is not introduced on a generator, just like what I have here now, therefore you cannot have light. No, you will surely have light. Because you know why? If this generator is being plugged in the power source that enables you to spin this generator, and maybe in your configuration way over, definitely there will be light. Because what we require mostly in light generation is just two things. You need the motor and the alternator. These are the two basic things you will need if you want to produce light. Two basic things. Every other thing is just a complementary, just complement the generator. For instance, the bed just complement. It enables you just to join the two things together, just like what I have here now. This one, you see the bed, it just complement. It just enables this and this to join. But in the case where I can join this motor and this one without the bed, the motor can still run. The generator can still produce light, because it's not the bed that made the light possible, but it is the ability for this alternator to rotate that make light produces. So that is where I'm trying to talk about. So for you to reduce cost, you must cut down the materials used. You must what? Cut down your materials. And for you to do that, you must consider three things. Number one, you must consider the alternator you use. The alternator. The size of the alternator is very important, because if you are going for 200 kVA, somebody sent me a text a few days ago to say, engineer, I want to produce 500 kVA generator. How much does it cost? 500 kVA generator is not just simple, and you don't expect little cost. You are almost producing half megawatts, so you expect a high cost. I have asked, why don't you go for something smaller first? Go for 150 and 20 first. Why do you go for 500 kVA? It's a very high generator and it will require a high cost. And most of the time, people don't even try little things first before they move bigger. Just go ahead and be bigger things when you know they can do small things. So you first of all start from small. Get the experience you need, the corrections you need to make on the way of a construction. Then you go to bigger. So the alternator is also matters a lot. For instance, now you can see the alternator now. This is a little alternator, but I think it's one of the smallest. The cost of this alternator now, it would not be as high as this one I have here. The cost of purchase, the cost of everything will not be as high as this one, because look at this one is big, and therefore the cost will be high. So if you are going for alternator, you must also consider the cost. If you are going to buy alternator, you consider the cost of the alternator. Then secondly, you are going to cover the motor size. The motor size also matters a lot. If you are going for new motor, you're going for Belgian motor, you're going for China motor, all this, and one maybe for copper, the cost also differs. So somebody will ask, which one do you recommend? I recommend all. Yes, I recommend what? All. Depend on which one your powers can carry, depend on which you can be able to fund. I don't give people an estimate of what you can be able to do. I always advise, start with what you have. Start with the little money you have. So that if your design energy, it's just better for you to start with what you have, then you grow with it, than for you to just say, okay, I want to build 500 kVA generator when you don't have the money, the resources to do it. Because building energy requires money. You can't just go, this material can't just come from heaven. You must surely buy them if you're able to supply them. So start with what you have. Go for the one you can afford, the motor you can afford. Go for the alternator you can afford, and then the flywheel, as I say, is optional. If you don't have the money for flywheel, then change the pattern. You have different pattern of energy generator, because somebody asks what kind of sort of flywheel can you use, what kind of pattern. You can use any pattern, any one that is fit for you. You can use it. You must not necessarily copy that person's pattern. Most important, that the light is being produced. We have different vehicles pattern. We have Mercedes, their own pattern of design. We have Toyota design pattern. We have also the Ford different pattern. We have BMW different pattern. So all these vehicles have different, but what means that they all move. So what am I trying to say? You can choose your own pattern. Yes, you can choose your own pattern. I see different patterns of energy design in the YouTube, but you can also use your own pattern, the one that fits you. You want that you know that you can be able to afford. You have to take less cost. So if you're choosing your pattern, choose the one you can able to afford. Then that is the way you can cut down the cost of your production. Because if you go for a pattern that is too costly, that requires a lot of materials and a lot of equipment to buy, definitely it will affect the cost. So you go for the pattern. Then the next thing is the next thing you're going to look at is that if after your own design of everything, then you go to what we call testing. The testing of your generator, which is very important. Then I'm going to show you some pattern of testing. I've seen ones of you can also use. For instance, see this pattern. It's also a simple pattern, and also you can test it in a very fun way because it's also very, very nice. You can see this pattern. Though if you don't have money for this pattern, if you don't have money for this, you don't stop yourself. Go for another cheaper one. You don't have the money to design this kind of pattern of energy system, you can go for what? The cheaper one. You must not only go for this big one, you must also go for the one you can afford, because these are all different patterns. The one you can afford, you can use that one for your energy design. I always advise go for what you can afford. So this is a pattern. You can see this design is a big complex, a big something bigger, because it requires flywheel, it required the motor generator, and also the base. But I look at it, for me is a bit complex anyway, but it depends on what you want to do, and also depend on what you want the generator to do. Because if you see this one, you use it for both welding and other thing, and welding requires a lot of high voltage consumption rate, so use it for welding. But you can go for something that you know that you can use it for your house consumption. Simple design, simple design. Must not go for something that is very high. So to cut down your cost of operation, to cut down all the cost of what you want to do, so you go for something that is easier for you. I advise you, please don't go for what you cannot use, cannot be able to produce. Many people like to go for big things, but they can't do small things.